Alright, so today we got AJ and Cesar. We're here, my buddies. We're gonna install some Fortunato 500s on his G20. So we're gonna go ahead and go through it. Some of you don't know how hard it is to install these, but it's not really that hard. We'll probably be done with it today. What else we got, Cesar?
Airplanes above.
We're gonna have plenty of those, that's for sure.
What do we got? We got
Cuzco upper control arms?
Yeah, they had even Charlie Salazar lower control arms as well.
You guys don't want to hear about that.
Nah.
Then we got the, you know, we're an equal opportunity employer, so we got to have one of these guys here. Right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get through them. We're gonna install Fortune 500s. We got some extra hands here. Mr. Cesar himself. Some of you may know him in the SR20 community as Neo from the Matrix.
Sure.
Say hello, Robert.
Hello.
So yeah, let's go ahead and unbox these things. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox these. They've been in storage for about a year because you know, it's a seasonal thing with these Fortunatos. Not really, but just go ahead and show you what's in the box. So the best thing to do is definitely, you can tell the quality right off the bat. Fortunato takes their time to box things right and correctly. If you have any of these boxes that say China on the front or have really weak taping, then of course that's a sign of quality right there, the QC. But they double box their things, which is pretty neat. There's spanner wrenches. I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of unboxing videos. I had pre-opened this box just to make sure everything was in it, but I just wanted to show you guys how it came. These are the 500 series. These are for the 91 through 95 INFINITI G20. My buddy Cesar went ahead and ordered them through my group buy with Swift Spring upgrades. So they have the offset top hats. This is the rear strut. And then here is the front. So they do have, for the G20, they have the offset top hat, and that's just so you can have more travel. Pretty simple install, not very that difficult. It's gonna be pretty straightforward, but for you guys that have a G20, this is definitely the way you want to go. For Cesar, we went ahead and asked for a street setup, so I recommended for Cesar to go ahead and go 6K front, 5K rear. Should be pretty sweet, should be a nice little ride. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on these pretty soon, and we'll see how he likes them. So now that we've unboxed them, we're gonna go ahead and get the car in the air, do what we need to do, get all our tools out, and make Cesar happy. Or as some people say, make some jam. Where have you guys heard that? I hope it's not copyrighted. So we got we got AJ over here setting up the jack stands. We have Alan Jack setting up the jack stands. And then we're gonna get this party started. Is for the P10 and P11 there was a revision made. The guys at Fortunato were nice enough to take some of my dimensions and make revised bottom mounts. You can go ahead and tell the difference once the airplane goes by. There's a slot cut into them, actually machined into them. It's basically so it won't hit the upper link as the suspension travels up and down. So they were nice enough to go ahead and powder coat them also, or anodize them in my custom colorway from last year's group buy that I made. So we'll be replacing both of these on the fronts. And then also we're going to go ahead and install Cuzco camber arms. These are for the P10 and P11 from Cuzco. They'll go ahead and give us, what is it, 2 degrees of camber? Somewhere, give or take, somewhere around there. There's no other form of camber adjustment. There's other types of camber arms, but for the most part, most of those tend to loosen up and change the camber along the way. and you'll lose your camber setting. So that's what we got going on right now. So we went ahead and took measurements of the ride height. This is the old ride height, which is 23 1/4 in the front, 23 1/4 in the rear. The old suspension is on springs and struts. So again, I took measurements. So our new front height is going to be 22 3/4. We're going to go down 1/2 inch just to get rid of some of that wheel gap. AG's over here putting out the old suspension. But as you can see, this is AGX Tane spring combo. This is quite old. So we're going to be upgrading to new tech. So we'll see how that ride ends up after we're done. People tend to forget is you have to set preload for spring tension. If you read the manual, you know, most of us don't read any manuals, we just fly by the seat of our pants. You're gonna go ahead and add about 1/4 inch of spring tension to the spring. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and take a measurement of the spring. This is I believe it's a 7-inch spring. But you take the measurement of the length of the spring from the top of the spring to the bottom of the spring. Go ahead and subtract that 1/4 inch. And you start compressing it by turning the top collar. You turn the top collar until you add 1/4 inch of tension. Then you go ahead and measure it out. If you're at 6 3/4, you already know you measured out 1/4 inch, and there goes your spring preload. One thing to note, I've had this question a couple of times, is on these coilovers for the rear strut mount here on the P10. You do have a little bit of camber adjustment here because it is slotted at the top. If you want no camber, keep it as stock as possible. You definitely want to line up towards the front of the hole, so that's going to be facing you. It's going to be facing outward. So definitely line it up there. I usually just go ahead and stick a screwdriver behind it to try to give it some pressure to push it forward as far as I can, so I can go ahead and tighten it up. You can go ahead and make any camber adjustments through the rear when you get to your alignment shop, but luckily we have West End here locally. Darren and Chris usually know what to do when they see these things, so shout outs to those guys.
First, or so we're gonna sit here struggle with it?
Don't talk to me dirty, Ron.
Because right now it needs to, hold on. No, it needs to go the other way.
Needs to go the other way?
Yeah.
Alright, put it in the hole the other way.
Yeah, this needs to be...
It needs to be pushed in?
Yeah.
Alright, so anyway, back to what I was trying to show you. See, with these, because of the slot for camber adjustment, I usually like to stick a screwdriver behind them and pull on. If you pull on it, it'll push it forward so that you're towards the front of the actual hole, just like that. If you go the other way, if you push on it backwards, you're actually going to be giving it camber. So I know, Rob, you're not strong enough to. So definitely just go ahead and stick a screwdriver in there, pull back on it, and you'll be at 0 camber, just like stock.
Light as hell.
Track jack stands. So we went ahead and put the car down. Now we got to make a couple measurements. It looks pretty good, but then we get there. So this isn't drivable at all on the street. Well, it is for some people if you're about that low life. But we're definitely going to go up, take some measurements. We're probably going to go down a little bit in the rear and get it to where I had made those measurements before. So we'll be back. Finished after a couple of adjustments to the ride height. INFINITI G20 owners know what kind of a hassle it is to adjust height, especially in the front to these vehicles. We got it to exactly where we wanted it. Looks pretty good. Should be pretty functional. We'll go ahead and take it for a spin. All right, Maiden Voyage, first test drive. See what Cesar's impressions are of the new Fortunatos on Swift Springs. Can we make it out the driveway? Real test.
Yeah.
Oh snaps! No problem, bro. Try the on-ramp. passed it.
So far,
Doing legal speeds, of course, right? We're doing legal speeds.
I mean, we've been on the out for a few seconds, but
You can tell a huge
I feel
difference.
a huge, major difference.
My car feels real smooth.
Yep.
That was a perfect spring rate, dude. For a daily driver, great spring rate.
Still on there?
Yeah, my action cam's still there.
All right.
Make sure to add that action cam video.
Yeah.
Part of it. Ooh, that backfire. Feels real stable at the high speed up.
Compared to the old suspension, way better.
That's smooth. That's real nice.
Because before the old suspension, I literally have to grab the wheel with both hands. Like literally 10 and 2.
I keep telling people to do the slip spring upgrade for that reason. What's an extra couple $100 when you're gonna get a quality suspension?
Yep. Are we doing one more on-ramp?
It's up to you, bro. It's a
Okay.
maiden voyage. You can take it as far as you want, as long as my action cam is still in. That's still there.
All right. Alrighty then. Any CHP?
No, I don't see it. Pull some lateral G's. Oh, that was a true test right there. Good
Yeah.
rebound. Mind you, I've only set it at midway stiffness just to break them in.
Easy.
Yeah, it feels smooth. I like that.
Feels like a new car.
That's real smooth, man. So, first impressions, your new suspension, what do you think?
I'm not happy, dude. I'm like, woo, dude. If I can jump, I would jump, but I can't because I'm tied down. You know?
Safety first, kids.
Yeah.
Safety first.
I'm stoked that.
We ain't about that low life. Just a bunch of regular dudes.
Yeah, no, none of that Richie crap.
Alright guys, that was the FA install, the FA 500s on a 91 through 95 Infiniti G20. Any final thoughts?
It's 96.
Oh, 96, my bad. The P10 people are gonna hate me. Sorry, I'm not a P10 person. B13 and P11 all the way in my book. Alright guys.